Welcome to the Dom.Hockey podcast, proudly presented by Bench Rates. Created by a former hockey player, Bench Rates uses a proprietary algorithm to assign a true monetary value to a player's on-ice contributions and lets you compare that value directly to his cap hit. Bench Rates evaluates professional players across leagues worldwide, including the NHL and AHL. Learn more at benchrates.com. Also presented by McKeen's Hockey. McKeen's produces the premier NHL draft guide featuring more than 200 player reports and comprehensive rankings. They also deliver in-depth prospect coverage through their annual team-by-team rankings and their trusted hockey pool yearbook. Visit mckeens.com and subscribe for just $16.50 Canadian for 3 months. Dom and I are here for another episode of Dom.Hockey, the podcast. This one, though, is not live. Dom, we sat down with Vashek Blanar, Bruins 2025 draft pick, for a brief chat. What do you want to let people know before we just jump right into it? We don't like to have a lot of fluff around here, so I'll let you say what you want beforehand, and then we'll jump right into the interview with Vashek.
Well, we just want to bring the player's personality to the forefront. Not only that, talk to him about how he feels his game is going and how it's gone to this point, and just an open, honest conversation with none of the fluff attached to it.
Yeah, and we'll have a little bit more when we're done, when the interview is over. So without further ado, here is our interview with Bruins prospect Vashek Blanar. Huge welcome to Boston Bruins draft pick Vashek Blanar. I hope I'm pronouncing the name correctly because there's always been a couple different pronunciations that go around. What do you prefer?
Vashek Blanar, just like you said, it was good.
Awesome. Dom, did you have the first question for him?
Okay. Yeah. So Vashek, you born in Colorado, moved to Czechia at a young age. Ended up going to Sweden to play junior hockey, where they're now considered the top junior leagues in Europe and actually rival some of the North American leagues. What went behind the move to Czechia? Obviously, your father's from there, and the move to decide to go play hockey in Sweden.
Yeah, so we moved because both of my parents are Czech. So basically, the whole family was back in Czech, and grandparents didn't really see their grandkids. So I moved to Czech when I was 4 years old. My sister was two, so pretty didn't catch too much back in America. And yeah, so we moved back. We were actually planning to move to USA when I was, I think, 6 years old, but it got canceled for some reason. So decided to stay, and I kind of decided to move to Sweden. I didn't really support the Czech system, how they run hockey. So I actually got into Sweden after I quit hockey for half a season. Had some mental issues and troubles with that. So I really wanted like a big change for my hockey career, and Sweden was the good choice for me.
Yeah, it definitely seems like it's been a good turnaround for you. When you were drafted, many over here in the US and all of North America really were very confused because your elite prospects page was still under Vashek Richards, and the Bruins didn't even have a picture for your draft profile. So can you tell us like where you were for the draft, who you were with, how that whole thing went down for you both beforehand, and did you even have any idea the Bruins were going to pick you?
So yeah, it was I had to change my name when I was 18, so bad timing before the draft, but made it a little bit more interesting. So I think basically when I moved to Sweden, I think everybody kind of forgot that I was still playing hockey, and it was like these low leagues, so there was like no photographs or any guys taking pictures of me. So that Boston didn't really have anything to work with, which was kind of funny. But yeah, I was at home. I had no idea how Boston was gonna draft me. I was kind of thinking Utah was gonna draft me. I've been at their or I've been at Utah before the draft for like a camp, and then talked to them a lot. To Boston, I only spoke once, and I was with my family and watching, and then my dad, since there was no pictures or anything, so my dad just kind of saw on the screen, kind of like flipped Vashek Blanar. He just screamed Boston baby because we were huge fans since I was a kid of Boston, so it was awesome. It was incredible.
So going back, you were drafted on June 28th, and in by the 30th, you were in Boston for your first development camp. That must have been a whirlwind 48-hour window for you. What was that time frame like, aside from the surprise of getting drafted by the Bruins? And then what were you able to take away from that camp, because it was your first one and everything must have been a blur at that point?
Yeah, basically it was all a blur. So I got drafted, and in about an hour I already had tickets for I think like 5 or 4 a.m. the next day. So I just kind of packed all my stuff, went to bed pretty quick, and then yeah, we drove to the airport. I still, didn't believe it, to be honest. Even when I got to Boston, it all came so quick. There was a couple delays and stuff, so I got to the facility a little bit later than the other guys. But the 4 days went by so quickly, and then when I got home, that's basically when I realized, like, oh my God, I got drafted to the NHL by Boston Bruins. So
Yeah.
it happened so quickly. It was insane. It was sick. And I mean, from Boston, just like, we get these notepads. So I was paying attention to all the classes that we had about nutrition to sleep recovery and all those, training and all those stuff. So I stay in contact with all the guys from Boston, and they help me out with whatever I need. So I think recovery helped me a lot. I feel like I need that. We don't really have too much here in Sweden, so I'm trying to do as much as I can from what Boston gives me, and nutrition obviously is a big part of my life now with trying to gain weight in the right way. So I mean, it was very helpful for me.
I just want to touch on that Chris saying that the Bruins didn't have a picture to put on their graphic. Um, but I did immediately after you were drafted. I tweeted it out, which got, of course, a whole bunch of responses saying it figures Dom would have a picture. Because I think in the last 2 years, at most, I've probably only missed 10 of your games because I watch a lot of games from Sweden. So early in the morning, I'm retired. I got nothing else to do. But I want to go back to last season, which HV71. Um, as a whole for the team, it wasn't a very good year. You guys ended up in the relegation round. I think you rolled to a 10-0 record through the relegation. But for you yourself, I saw a lot of growth from the beginning of the year to the end of the year in terms of your play and how it improved. And it seemed to me a concentrated effort in your defensive game. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I feel that too. The coaches as well. So at the start of the season, I basically never had like a coach to really help me defensively. That's why I kind of became like a offensive defenseman. So in Czech didn't really work on any of the defensive stuff. It's all about chip the pucks out. And finally, when I had like a good coach that helped me, and then Boston was helping me. So I feel like I really changed around my game after like Christmas. So the second half was looking way better than it was the first half. And yeah, defensive work, staying on the right side, just good gap, and then inside the dots. That's all we've worked on for the first half, and then kind of clicked to me in the second. So I think well, I'm happy that you see it as well. So that's
Yeah.
good.
Well,
Good that there's some progression.
Dom
yeah.
sees all. You've previously mentioned how you've received video. You mentioned the notebook from the Bruins, obviously the first couple development camps, and just now talking about how the defensive factor isn't as much focused in
the Czech game. How have you been able to utilize your decision-making ability to your advantage to make the adjustments based on what you saw in the video and what you've been able to work with the Bruins coaches with?
Yeah, so I mean, it's just like watching the videos on repeat, just trying to like getting it into your mind so it kind of like stays there and doesn't leave it. And then, once you practice it a lot, it kind of like comes naturally. That's what everything I was with head checks and stuff like that. I was doing on practice every single day, and then it starts to click slowly in the games, and that's kind of how you like, or that's how I see that I've improved myself. And I'm very grateful for the defensive coach, or the coach that works with defensemen here in Hova. He's been sending me videos after every game, good stuff, all the bad stuff. So he's been a big part of my, I think, progression and uh, just as a player overall, I guess.
So I want to talk about this off season that isn't really an off season for you. You're already at camp. I know your goal is to make the SHL this season, um, and the World Junior Championship roster. I know you're going to the Five Nations in Finland next week, where uh, you've got 4 games in 4 days, which is a heavy schedule. I think it's next week, the 26th, so 8 days away. Um,
Yeah.
how important is it to you to? I know you were with the World Junior team last year, but didn't play, but you were surrounded by the experience. How is it important is it to you to make both those rosters? And would you see it as a disappointment if let's say you had to spend a season in the Allsvenskan league in Sweden?
Yeah, so I mean summer practice I've been basically here in Sweden for 2 months, and then we have like a month where we kind of do our own work. We have an app where we do that. Everybody does that at home. So I was in Czech for about 3 weeks. And I mean, we don't really get time off here in Sweden. It's after the season, we got like 2 weeks off, maybe, or actually, I had no days off because of the Five Nations after the season. I think I ended Sunday, and then Monday, we got right back on with summer training. So it was tough this year, but I've put a lot of work in. I'm seeing that in the mirror, in on the we do a lot of testing here, so every test is an improvement for me, which is good. And fighting for a spot here is an honor. I mean, there's a lot to prove to myself, to teammates, to everybody that I can make the team. Uh, I don't think it would be so bad if I played Allsvenskan. I mean, it's a great league, and
Mm-hmm.
it's very fast paced, a little bit different than the SHL. I'd be happy if I got a chance there as well. And I mean, the goal is to have a good tournament now next week, and then hopefully make the World Juniors, which is a incredible honor. I mean, I was there
Yeah,
last year, didn't play too much, but just got the experience. I mean, it's the best tournament in the world. These guys are just insane to play there, and I
yeah.
really want to compete with them and fight for Czech Republic to hopefully win a gold medal this year. Came one short last year, so
Well,
this year
yeah.
will be even better.
For those that don't know, the Five Nations is a tournament similar to the Summer Showcase here in North America for in preparation for the World Juniors. So that's uh, it's in Finland, right? This year?
Yeah, it's in Finland. It's like
Yeah.
20 minutes from Helsinki.
Okay, Chris.
Yeah, I know we already talked a bit about his decision making and stuff. And you mentioned the North American tournaments and stuff. Obviously, the goal is SHL, World Juniors, and those types of things this year. But is there any chance? I know UMass is still a year plus away for you, but is there any chance we would see you in North America sooner than your UMass debut?
So I have a contract till the end of December here in Sweden. So I guess it all kind of depends on where I play here in Sweden. So I've talked to a couple teams in North America, and it all kind of depends. If I do, I'm fighting all I can to make the SHL roster or the Allsvenskan. So if I get playtime there, I'll probably stay in Sweden, and if I don't, then maybe you guys will see me in North America after the World Juniors.
Yeah, just so everybody knows, so you were drafted by Youngstown in the USHL earlier this year, and the CHL had their import draft in June, or maybe it was early in July, just after the NHL draft. And the CHL determined because you were born in Colorado, you were not an import, and that you're free to sign with any WHL team because you're in their territory. And I know there's a couple of teams that are interested in you, and I know that Youngstown is really, really interested in you. That's why they used an early draft pick on you. So I'll be honest with you. I'm selfish, Vashek. So I would love for you to come to North America early, but that's okay if you make the SHL. I'd be more than proud of you for doing that at 19 years of age.
Yeah, that'd be sick. But yeah, it's a hard work. We got a couple injured defensemen, which kind of makes me the seventh now. So we played last week against Frölunda, which was a good game. I got about 8 minutes of play time, and then this week, actually tomorrow and Thursday we play two games with the men's, so that should be fun. Hopefully get more ice time so I can prove that I can play there, and yeah, it's gonna be a good week this week.
Awesome.
Chris, I
Dom,
just want to ask one quick question about
go
that
ahead. Go
before.
ahead.
So Liam Pettersson, who was also drafted in 2025, like you were, is also 19. I think he's only like 2 months older than you, I believe, if my memory serves. He's also trying to make the Djurgårdens team. I saw him play 2 days ago uh, in a game. Um, he was injured a lot last year. Did you get to play against him at all? And I'm not sure who your two games are with this year. Are you facing him in any of those?
Yeah, so I'm playing him tomorrow. Hopefully he makes the team
Oh,
so we can
okay,
play against each other. Yeah.
okay.
And last year I think I played against him only once. I remember watching from the bench. He had a nasty goal against us when top shelf, so that was fun. But it's always fun to play against him. We chirp each other all the time. When I see him
Do
on the
you?
ice, I try to, yeah, oh yeah, big time. I tried to
Good.
dangle him and just hit him. So it's fun. He had a rough year last year though, so I
Yeah.
think we connected a little bit better on this year's development camp. So he's a great guy.
I did have a question on the UMass situation, but circling real quick back to development camp, I did want to ask you these last couple of years at the camp, who else, and Dom mentioned Liam Pettersson as one of them, who else has stood out to you at the camp that you enjoy, whether it's playing against because you feel like they make you, step your game up, or just someone that you enjoy kind of that camaraderie with in that, because it's only a short 4-day camp. So how have you been able to bond with some of the other picks in the system and the players, and utilize that to your advantage, if you will?
So I got this year into Boston a week early. So I was living with Dino, and I mean he's a fantastic player for how big he is. His skill and skating is just insane. So I remember when we played scrimmage or 3-on-3 when I played against him, I always try to take away his shot, his skill, and compete against him a little bit harder than all the other guys. And I mean he's what, like 215 pounds or something like that. So living the week with
Yeah.
him, we were cooking together, and I just saw what he can eat. So that really like helped me to see what I gotta eat to gain some weight, because that was insane. He bought like 30 eggs and 6 pounds of ground beef, just going insane with it. It was awesome. And then obviously Liam, I'm trying to compete with him because we were both defensemen drafted in the same year, playing in Sweden, and yeah, just trying to be better than him, I guess.
So, like I said, I did want to ask you about the UMass selection there. Obviously, some great young talent has come out of that system. Some of it obviously still shining. Cale Makar is an example. What were some of the key factors in your decision to go to UMass, and how much did the Bruins talk to you about that decision, and what other options may have been there for you?
So I talked to three schools. It was UMass, Boston College, and Providence. I think UMass showed the most interest in me. I talked with them. I had more than one meetings with them, and then the coaching staff just seemed really cool to me. I think Greg is a great coach. Uh, and then their facility is really good. I haven't really talked to Boston about that decision. I make that basically by myself. I know college is probably the best route anybody can take now. With you just have more time to become a really good hockey player. There's better development with how little they have games and how much they practice. And I think UMass is the right choice for me. I know there's a couple Czech buddies as well that I'm gonna join next year, and it's I think it's gonna be fun couple of years in college.
Well, Dom can be selfish about having you in North America, but UMass is like an hour away from me, so I'll be selfish enough to say I can't wait for you to get there.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be awesome. I can't wait.
So I know Chris touched on this earlier in terms of contact with the Bruins. I know here in North America, Adam McQuaid, who's the development coordinator with the Bruins, travels a lot to see prospects. Obviously, it's harder for him to go overseas to see yourself or Liam or let's say now Oscar Olsen, who's in Sweden, or Nils Bartholson, or a couple of Russian prospects. Does the development staff, other than maybe sending you video, talk to you once or twice through the year and say, "This is what we want you to work on"?
So I think we talk to each other maybe like once a month, once every 2 months,
That off?
and then yeah, it's that often. I was last week. Adam McQuaid called me just to check up on things, how it's going, how's the situation, and last year Parker came in. He's the other development coach. He was here the first half of the year of the season. He's watched two games that I played. Then we talked, sent me some video, and then for the second half of the season, Adam came, kind of the same thing. Talked about the games, talked about how it's going, and then sent me some video. So I think they're doing a great job. I think now everybody's kind of on the south side of Sweden, so they're gonna have it a little bit easier, so they don't have to go all the way to the north of Sweden, where Nils is about hour and a half away from me. Oscar Olsen is about 2.5, and Liam a little bit further now that he's in Stockholm. But I think everybody's pretty close, so it's gonna make it easier for them to basically see four prospects in a week and a half that they are here for.
Yeah, definitely. More on top of it, Dom, than I think even you and I were expecting.
Yeah.
No, they really do. They do a great job with us, take care of us, and I was surprised how it works myself. And then if we ever need anything from them or from anybody else from the organization, we can just call them, text them, and they help out with everything. I know I I reached out to Tim, the strength, about some speed work I wanted to work on, and the next day he sent me a full program that I should work on. So they're just amazing staff.
So one of the questions that I'm sure people will come to as they're watching this, when you have those conversations with the development team and their staff, do they ever kind of give you almost like a layout of, if you make the SHL this year. This is what we could see next from you. This is what our projections look like when we might see you take the next step. Obviously, your next step at UMass is already, kind of secured, but past that, like, do they give you those kinds of timelines and where they want you to be, or do they just focus on, let's get you to, the SHL, let's focus on UMass after that, and we'll play the rest as we go?
So I think it's more like right now, they don't really like talk about the future too much. Obviously, now that I'm committed to UMass, it's a 4-year commit, or it's a 4-year commitment, right? So there's not really that much for me to like look forward to past UMass, which is a long way ahead. So I mean, right now last week when I talked to Adam, it was more about just like making the SHL and how I feel about the situation, and if I could get loaned out, just all around those things, and then what's gonna happen after Christmas. So I don't really think they set like timelines for me as far as the season that is now. I think last year we didn't really talk about what's gonna happen next season because I was committed to UMass, right? So it's all about like the time that's now basically this season.
So I got to put you on the spot a little bit because I've written plenty as what I see Vashek Blanar is as a hockey player and what I think his potential is and the type of game he plays. I want you to tell us in your own words, this is the type of hockey player I am. This is what you can expect from me. And maybe tell us who you model your game after.
Yeah, so you guys, when you see me play, or that's what I'm trying to present to myself, is that, a confident guy on the ice, with the puck, and good defensively. You get in close plays, good positioning in the D zone, and then just like skating out with the pucks, getting away from the pressure, using my skills to beat the first guy and make a good pass. I'd say I'm pretty confident on the blue line. I can make plays, shoot the puck through traffic, trying to get it on net. And just, yeah, I want to be the guy who you play when it's a minute left and we got to score. So you put me on 6-on-5 on the blue line, and want to be a guy who basically, plays 5-on-6 when there's 2 minutes left and we got to keep the lead. So I just want to be all around defenseman who gets a lot of ice time, that you put me on the ice and you can count on me. Feel like I've deserved that here in Hova a little bit in the last half a season. I think the coaches believed in me a little bit more than they did in the first half. So I feel like that's on the right path.
So you mentioned being a Bruins fan growing up. Who on the Bruins did you really kind of circle and look at as, I want to play like him?
So it was just like I know my dad, he used to love Lucic just because he was a big fighter. I loved Zdeno Chara. He was a huge defenseman right from the country next to me, Slovakia, and he was just a beast, just fighting, and he was a really good captain. And I just think just Boston overall just spoke to me, the logo and everything. I always loved Marchand as well. Little rat. He was good at everything. He was good at getting under his skin, scoring goals, and hitting people. So I think the Boston was like the best team I could ever watch.
So you mentioned Chara. Have you been able to meet him yet? Given his role with the team is kind of ever evolving, and we obviously see a lot of former players hanging around, whether it's the Garden or Warrior Ice Arena. Have you been able to get in touch with any of those guys?
No, I've met Patrice Bergeron. When I was the week early, he came to train at the gym there. So that was the only one I met from who I was basically watching as a kid. Zdeno Chara, hope to meet him one day. That'd be pretty awesome. And then Pasternak as well. He's pretty close where I'm from. When I was back in Czech, I used to play. Had a couple of games in his old team where he used to grew up. So hope to meet that guy as well.
Yeah, so I know a lot of hockey players don't like to talk about personal goals, but Chris will tell you that every year before the season starts, I do a projection. It's a formula that I come up with on what to expect in terms of production from players. And Chris will tell you that most of the time it's pretty bang on.
It's
And
scary accurate.
for the last two years, you've hit it right on the head. Exactly what I have projected for you was right on the head. So if I were to tell you that if you made the SHL this season and played a full season, that Vashek Blanar was going to score 4 goals and add 11 assists on the season, would you be satisfied with that?
Oh yeah, big time. I was hoping for maybe like 2 points the whole season. That's if that happens, that'd be pretty insane. 15 points in the first season of SHL would be awesome.
Yeah. Well, I actually have this formula, and like I said, it actually works out pretty well. And for 2 seasons, you've hit the nail right on the head in terms of production. I think last year you were right on the money, and the year before was you missed by 1 goal, had the assist bang
Oh,
on.
really?
So, yeah. So
No, that's
that's what I've
impressive.
got projected for you this season. So I know that's that's hard to reach, but personally, I think you're capable of it.
I appreciate that. That's my goal this year. Then hit 15 points, 4 goals, 11 assists. It's not bad. My goal this year
Yeah,
was to just, get play time, but I
yeah.
guess 15 points isn't bad as well.
He's gonna have that in the back of his head now every time he steps on the ice. I gotta get these
Oh
15
yeah.
points. But when he gets 16, Dom, he gets to shove it in your face and say your
Yeah,
projection's wrong.
exactly. Well, he's got
Sounds
my
good.
number. He can call me out on it anytime.
Yeah.
I have to say though, being as someone who goes to every day the development camps, your name is one that is being tossed around by the fans a lot. I think a lot of the fans are very excited to see your next steps, almost probably as excited as you are to execute on them. And I can tell you, some of the fans definitely have loftier goals than Dom when it comes to where you can come off with your game. So
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Just, being a part of the community, just seeing that I got some fans is pretty great outside of my family. So it's yeah, I mean it's awesome.
I
I
do. Oh, go ahead, Dom.
I know Don Sweeney is kind of joked about it over the past couple of years. You know, when they talk about you, and drafting and stuff, he like says something about, "Ha, I fooled you guys with that one," with the name change and everything, right? But so the draft pick the Bruins used to select you, they got from the Toronto Maple Leafs in the Brandon Carlo trade. And I remember the first year after the trade, um, there people were saying, "Oh, the Bruins got a first round pick and Fraser Mitten for Brandon Carlo," and I'd hop on and I'd say, "And don't forget Vashek Blanar." And now I don't have to anymore because everybody's saying it. So um, I don't know if you ever saw Don Sweeney having some fun with it in a couple of different um, media press conferences he was having. Did you follow any of that at all?
No, not really. I was just checking Twitter a little bit after what my dad said to me the first camp. So I just saw like my clips that I actually did pretty well on the ice. I've personally thought it was like okay, pretty decent. I was still, from coming from playing under 18 relegation in Sweden against really bad teams. Now being on the ice where a bunch of NCAA guys are playing BC, Michigan State, Michigan, it was just insane to me. So, reading that first couple messages people wrote about me really put a smile on my face, and I was like, this is awesome. So otherwise, I don't really follow it that much. Yeah, a little bit. even if it's positive or negative, I think just gotta focus on myself here, and then I think the
Yeah.
fans just, either they like what I do or they don't. That's kind of depends on me.
So as Dom mentioned, you were selected with that pick that Boston got from Toronto. You mentioned earlier that you had a couple meetings with Utah, and obviously spoke with the Bruins just once. So leading into that draft, kind of what were you expecting as far as when you might get selected? Did you expect to be in the top 100? I know you were right there on the edge, but did you expect that, or were you kind of thinking maybe in a later round Utah? Kind of what was that whole period like for you leading into that selection?
So I was 100% thinking 6th, 7th round. There's like no doubt about it. Coming from a bad team, a bad league, and then when the draft started, I know Randy, my agent, he texted me to that Utah told him to be ready from the 3rd round. So I was like, oh my God. So I turned out the draft, and then nothing happened the third. I was like, kind of obvious, but then mid fourth, at the 100 pick just happened. So I was waiting from the third. I didn't expect to be nowhere near 100th pick, but thanks to Randy who called me, we were watching.
I can only imagine if you hadn't added on yet.
Yeah, that'd be pretty
um,
funny.
Randy's a good guy. I've talked to him a few times. I've talked to your dad a couple of times. Speaking of which, um, you have a younger sister, 2 years younger. Does she play hockey at all, or is she into any other sports?
Yeah, so she used to play hockey when she was a kid, but instead of playing hockey, she was building snowman on the ice. She was by, just by the ice, making snowballs and stuff. So now she's doing hip hop, she's dancing, so and she's really good at it. So which is awesome to see that she found something to do instead of just laying in bed like half the kids are these days. So
Yeah.
I'm very happy for her. They do international stages with their team, which is great. So always in support of that.
Well, Chris, you got anything else?
I think the only other thing I can think of, and I know I've been sitting here kind of going through what we've talked about, just with where you were selected in the draft, and as Dom mentioned, it's kind of that forgotten pick that people had with that Brandon Carlo trade for Boston. Now you're on the map, at least in Bruins fans' eyes, and people know who you are. Do you feel like there's something that you have done to get to that point and prove yourself as someone that people should be keeping an eye on, and obviously not forget the fact that you were in that trade?
Yeah, so I think it all started by just I had a really good camp last year. I think people, didn't really know me, they didn't know what to expect from me. So I kind of proved that I can play hockey a little bit after or last year at the camp. So I think fans grow to liking me, I guess. And then I'm just gonna, play hockey, do my best, have fun with it, and work hard every day. So I keep climbing in levels in Sweden and then jump to North America and yeah, hopefully keep the fans interested still. So it's a long journey, but it's gonna be fun.
Uh, Bruins fans are definitely going to remain interested. They always do.
Yeah,
That's good.
you've earned every bit of it. Um, Vashek, I want to thank you for taking the time to talk to us. If there's any last word that you want to say, now's your chance, my friend, and uh, give you the last word.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for having me. It was a pleasure. So so the Boston community get to know me a little bit better. It's good for me and thank you guys for taking interest in me as well, Dom, especially. A lot of, you know, how do I say this? Research on me. I see. I didn't even know about that CHL, the whole thing.
Well, it's fun.
Kind of caught me off guard. I had no
It's
idea.
funny because I was talking to Randy about it, and before the CHL ruled on your eligibility for the draft, I told Randy, I said, "This is the teams." I gave him a list of teams that you absolutely had to stay away from because they're no good for player development. So,
That's good. I'm sure he mentioned a couple of them.
yeah. Chris, you got any final words?
No, I just want to thank you, Vashek, for coming on, taking some time. I know it's taken a little bit of time to get everything set up, and with the time difference and everything. So we really appreciate it, and I'm really looking forward to seeing you this year, hopefully in the SHL and at the World Juniors, and hitting some of those goals that we've talked about. So like I said, Bruins fans are thrilled and excited to have you in the pipeline, and we appreciate you taking the time and helping us get to know you better.
Of course, guys, anytime if you have any questions or want to do this again, I'm happy to do it. It's an honor for
I'm sure
me,
fans will want us to
honestly.
do it
It's
again.
yeah. All right, so yeah, thank you guys so much. I mean, 30 minutes or 40 minutes of my time is nothing. So if you guys ever need anything, just let me know. I'll speak with you guys. It's been
Awesome.
fun.
We appreciate it. All right. Well, that's been our interview with Bruins prospect Vashek Blanar. Dom, what did you think of what he had to say? And before we head out, we'll let people get back to their Saturday afternoon.
I think he was pretty open, pretty honest about his game. What his intentions are moving forward, and that's what you want, is some honesty. I'm glad that he was able to confirm what I said earlier a couple months ago, and people dismiss it, that his contract only runs till the end of December in the SHL, and there's the chance that he could come to North America after World Juniors. So,
yeah, it really sounds like. Oops, sorry. Go ahead. Finish up.
Selfishly, like I told him, that's what I would like, but it is what it is, right?
It really does sound like he's got already a lot of hockey under his belt for the year, but he's totally fine with it, and he would welcome more. So, once that contract runs out, it'll be very interesting to see what those next steps are. And I'm very excited to see when he gets here to UMass and what that program can help him do as well.
Yeah, here's a question for you, Chris, which kind of his response kind of caught me off guard. I'm wondering if you feel the same. When we were talking about his move and decision to go to Sweden, he wasn't very complimentary about the Czech system. Did that catch you off guard at all?
I did catch that. It wasn't something I really wanted to put him front and center on, just because other people may feel differently about it. But yeah, I did catch that, and I don't know. I was going to ask you after. Do you know much about that Czech development system and why someone might feel that way?
Well, not really. It's just like I said to him, the junior leagues in Sweden really are the creme de la creme of junior leagues in Europe, and probably the best route to go. And it rivals some of the North American junior leagues. So I thought that alone was a good decision. In terms of Czech development, they do great with goaltenders, right?
Yeah, they have been, for sure.
Yeah, so I was kind of caught off guard with his response there. But when you, I guess, look at drafting out of Czechia, he does have a good point, I suppose.
Yeah, and I kind of chalked it up too as, like, I'm sure there are plenty of people that if we talk to enough of them, they'd have gripe, or they would have plenty of stories on why they don't like the US development system, or the Canadian juniors programs, whatever it is. And I'm talking strictly on ice reasons. I mean, there's plenty of reason to dislike things off the ice, but that's a whole other conversation. But this really felt like, for him, it was an on-ice decision. The way things were viewed in Sweden versus in Czech, he felt it was better. And I mean, it's showing in his game. I think it was definitely a good choice for him, and it's working out well. And like I said, I'm thrilled to see what he can do in college when he's going up against the the Dean Letourneaus of the world on a day in and day out basis. But, we're still a year away from that. So I'm going to enjoy him in the SHL hopefully this year. And, we'll see him at Five Nations coming up.
Yeah, I kind of caught him off guard with his 4 goals and 11 assists.
Yeah.
If he spends the season there. So that's a lot for a 19-year-old defenseman to do in a pro league in Sweden. And, we'll see.
I do want to jump off of that though real quick, because he did get a little caught off guard of that, but based on the conversation we've had, I think what it should really hammer home for a lot of fans is you and I talk a lot about not looking at the score sheet, not looking at goals and assists and point totals and highlight reels. And I think that is something that people should take away from this interview with him, because not once did he mention goals, assists, or highlights when it came to his own development and his game. Right. Everything was, what am I seeing in video? What can I work on? What can I add to my game? And not a single one of it was about point production.
Exactly. And I was surprised when he said, how often the Bruins are in touch with him, for a player overseas, which is, I guess it speaks to the dedication Adam McQuaid has in his job, right?
Yeah, and I know he watches sometimes, so definitely credit to him and his staff on that, because that answer was another one that stood out. I mean, you and I have talked about it on the assumption that they're really only in touch with him, a couple times a year, at least until they're here in the U.S., but it sounds like it's a lot more in depth than that, and it's starting to really show. I know people don't like to admit that the Bruins do certain things well, but, as we unlayer some of the Bruins development system, I think people will learn that they actually put a lot of work into it.
Yeah. I didn't know he was staying with Dean Letourneau when he was at development camp.
I can only imagine that grocery bill.
What did he say? 30 eggs and 6 pounds of ground beef?
I can only imagine that grocery bill. Hopefully the Bruins are covering that for him.
Unbelievable, eh?
Well, thanks to everybody who's tuned in till now. Enjoyed the interview, watched the interview. Dom, do you have any final thoughts? I know.
No, hopefully we'll get a couple more of these in before the season gets into full swing, and bring a little bit of the players' personality and their thoughts out to fans that really don't get a chance to see them.
Absolutely. And last but not least, as we always say, go Bees, prospects, go Vashek Blanar.
Go Vashek Blanar.
Welcome to the Dom.Hockey podcast, proudly presented by Bench Rates. Created by a former hockey player, Bench Rates uses a proprietary algorithm to assign a true monetary value to a player's on-ice contributions and lets you compare that value directly to his cap hit. Bench Rates evaluates professional players across leagues worldwide, including the NHL and AHL. Learn more at benchrates.com. Also presented by McKeen's Hockey. McKeen's produces the premier NHL draft guide featuring more than 200 player reports and comprehensive rankings. They also deliver in-depth prospect coverage through their annual team-by-team rankings and their trusted hockey pool yearbook. Visit mckeens.com and subscribe for just $16.50 Canadian for 3 months.